when you build an agent-based model, we're in a very different, dealing with a very different set of challenges than when we build aggregate or compartmental models, system dynamics models traditionally. Within those traditions, rich traditions, we're building with a smaller modeling vocabulary, stocks, flows, dynamic variables, or auxiliary variables, as you might want to call them. It's a small set of vocabulary, and we're figuring out how to configure them in some quite clever ways to lend insight into our problem. And often you can do very creative things with them. And as some people here will know, there's this whole universe of molecules that have been built up for system dynamics, and these idioms that keep on coming back and forth, which, you know, are quite similar in my mind to sort of software pattern literature, for example, of these recurrent idioms that get used. Tempted to say archetyped and for some of them. By contrast, with agent-based models, we're dealing with a vastly larger vocabulary, and it just, you know, the degrees of freedom are just much greater. We have vastly fewer constraints imposed by the modeling building blocks, and often people get lost in where to start. And the OP's, the op parties or O parties framework is designed to think consciously through different aspects of the model, forcing you to kind of enumerate, okay, well, what are my aspects of state? What are my actions that can change the state? What are the rules that govern that? But what is the time horizon? What are the modes of interaction? What are the aspects of the environment? What sort of interventions am I thinking about, et cetera, in ways that that will sort of get you to do a scan of different possibilities for different spheres where you need to think about the modeling, because you know, it's such a high dimensional space. It's easy to forget for some things for a while. So yeah, we'll be coming back and talk about it with model conceptualization. So that's helpful. Yeah. Other comments or questions? Okay. Well, I appreciate your steadfastness. I don't have many plans for this boot camp for too many really heavy sort of conceptual talks. I really want a lot that's hands-on. And I'd like to, I feel like I want to get us going with a bit of hands-on stuff before we go to lunch, so we can feel a bit energized. So I'm going to stop this recording and